Good morning, ma'am. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. And how are you doing?
I'm doing quite good myself. Neha, ma'am, where are you from? I believe this is the first time that we're meeting, right? So,
Yes, yes, yes.
yeah, where are you from?
Okay. I come from a very beautiful state of India, Himachal Pradesh, but currently I live in Mohali, that is in Punjab.
Oh, okay. So have you been
Yes.
married to Punjab?
Ye- No, no, no. I've been married. Like my in-laws' place is also in Himachal, but since my husband works here, my son studies here, so we settle here just for educational purpose and for employment options.
Okay, understood. And ma'am, are you working or are you a homemaker?
Earlier, I used to conduct offline tuition classes. Now I have completely switched to online platform. I've been conducting online sessions for 6 years now. So I
Oh,
can say that I am a working homemaker.
right. So you can say you're a
Hmm.
work from home trainer, work from
Yes,
home teacher,
actually.
right?
Teacher, right. I don't want to use trainer word because I'm not a certified trainer, though I
Okay.
conduct sessions and I deal with those learners who find English language quite tricky. I help them to understand its intricacies or nuances. But the thing is, since I don't have any certificate, I and I don't consider myself a trainer because, of course, it's not my first language. I am myself a learner of this language, but I know the struggle of those people who come from a rural setting and those
Right.
students who can't afford expensive platforms. So I
Right.
offer an affordable platform. So that's it.
Okay. So do you also run a YouTube channel? How do you find your students?
Yes, I run a YouTube channel, though I'm not regular on my YouTube channel just because I'm so occupied with so many other activities. Being a homemaker, you are always, you have to be on your toes.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, credit goes to all my social media accounts like YouTube channel. I run a Facebook page also. I have an Instagram account also. So earlier, people used to find me through my connections, as sometimes my friends, children, they used to join me. But now it's all about social media platform. People watch my videos and then they approach me for my classes.
Okay. So what's your YouTube channel name, if I may ask?
Yes, it's Himachali tutor Neha Rana.
Oh, okay. So I would definitely
Yes,
give it a try. I would want to see what kind of content you are putting up there.
sure, sure.
Yeah.
I
So
am sure that you are going to love it.
I'm sure.
Yes.
And I would love to see what is it that you're doing with your learners and how I can help you further in this journey, right? So,
Okay.
can you tell me what are some of the things that you have been covering in your sessions, and what are some of the topics that you talk about, and how exactly is it helping your learners?
Okay. So when I'll start from the very beginning. When I started my channel, it was never for getting name or fame or yes, we all want to earn money, and if we want to do charity, what I believe, then charity also requires money.
Mhm.
But as I belong to a very small village in Himachal, I know the kind of struggle people face there when it comes to spoken English. We don't
Right.
have that environment in villages. In today's time also, we don't have that environment. No one speaks in Hindi, let alone English. That's the
Mhm.
scenario in our villages, right? And moreover, people or parents don't want to invest their money in spoken English classes or kind of, and spoken English classes are quite expensive. If someone wants to learn spoken English, so we need to pay through our nose. That's for
Right.
sure.
That's the unfortunate
So,
truth.
right? So I afford a platform where I try to know the financial condition of my learners if they are not able to pay. So I have very reasonable fee structure,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't have a specific course or syllabus. It depends on the requirement of my learner. And
Mm-hmm.
most of the time, more than teaching, I am counseling them. I am motivating them. That is
Right.
my first job, right? Because everyone comes with that preconceived notion that English learning English is a big deal. We can't learn. We are Hindi medium students, right? And they are so disappointed actually. Most of the time, there are those people who are not able to crack an interview just because of their communication skills. And in Himachal, when it comes to studies after 12th or after graduation, we all need to step out of our village
Mm-hmm.
for further education, for higher education. And when we step into, most of the time it's Chandigarh, Mohali, and Panchkula, because these
Right,
are the nearby places, right? And
right,
then a new struggle begins to get fit in this locality, to have that smart communication skills, right?
right,
And of course, if you want to crack any interview, you need to be presentable, and interviews are all about presenting yourself in English.
right.
So students have good knowledge. They are good at their if when it comes to bookish knowledge, or they have particular skill, but they are not able to express themselves, and
Mm-hmm.
they don't want to invest their money for these classes because most
Right.
of the time they can't afford. So this is the reason why I started my YouTube channel, why I created that channel, because I wanted to reach uh, those people who really need, at least it's not about training them or helping them in English language, learning this language. It's all about telling them that you can do this. It's
Mm-hmm.
just a language. If I'm sitting here, if I can express myself confidently, why can't you?
Right.
So this is my major concern. That's why I am on YouTube or on social media, and that's why I'm working on my communication skills. And that is the reason that I'm conducting sessions also.
Right. It's great that you have noticed that gap in the market
Mm.
where people, the demand is too high. People want to work on their
Yes.
communication, but at the same time, they're not getting
Mm.
that platform where they can find that, but at
Yes.
affordable rates, right? Because, like you
Mm.
mentioned, learning English does come at a cost, right?
Right.
And
Right.
unfortunately, yes, that's the case because ultimately there is a big team working behind
Mm.
these platforms, right? Whether be it
Right.
English Yaari, whether be it any other platform, there is a
Any
team
other.
that
Right.
goes behind that, right? So when it's a
Mm.
team, then of course you have to
Yes.
pay the team, right? That's
True.
why these courses are
Mm.
at times, people might
Mm.
find it a little expensive. But you are someone who noticed that gap, and that is where you came in, right? Which is quite good. And when did you start your journey, ma'am? When did you start your channel?
I started during COVID, when
COVID
the
lockdown.
COVID hit the world, because that was the time I think most of us, we found our niche, and we found a
Mm-hmm.
way to
Right.
utilize internet or our gadgets in a very constructive or productive way. So that was my eureka moment when I got this realization. Let's give it a shot. Why not to go switch to off online scenario? And then I can clearly recall that, or I can clearly remember. It was, I guess, it was very scorching hot. Maybe month of May or June or April, I guess, April or March. But this, COVID hit around in the
I think
month
the
of
first,
March.
yes, the first lockdown happened in,
Uh,
I think, mid-March.
March,
Yes, first or the
March,
second
right,
week of
right.
March. Yes.
Yes. So I was sitting in my hall, and my sister was with me. So we were just discussing how to pass time, because it was a tedious task to sit idle all day long, right? So she suggested me actually that why you don't go for online platform, and I just updated my status that spoken English classes are available, and for further details, just message me. And within 1 hour, I guess I got 10 to 12 messages. They
Oh
were
my.
all my contacts, yes, because every mother was like every mother was in trouble due to children's holidays and vacation. And of course, that was a different scenario. We have that fear of getting infected, because
Right.
COVID was a new thing, and it was not some very frequent thing like cold and cough.
Yeah.
So when I got so many queries, so I started. So that is, and first I started my classes, then I created my channel.
Oh.
And yes, so
And
during COVID, it
uh,
happened.
Right. So, and I believe that you have been teaching students across different age groups, right? Because as far as I
Yes.
can gather, you started off
Mm.
initially with young kids, and now you're
Young
teaching
kids.
even working professionals, right?
Right.
So, how do you find teaching working professionals different from that of students? How do you manage, and which one do you think it's easier to manage?
Okay.
Because I'm
I
someone who is
can't.
also teaching in a similar
Mhm.
manner,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So I do want to know the challenges that
Uh,
you're facing in different
mhm.
age groups.
Actually, I can't be specific with the teaching with students or working professionals. I think it depends more the kind of individual you are.
Mm-hmm.
So students always come with energy and those vibrant vibes, right? I love to be in touch with students, specifically children,
Yeah.
high school children or primary school children, because they are always ready to learn. They come
Mm.
with that alacrity that yes, I want to learn. But when it comes to deal with adults, they give up very easily. That's what I
Right.
believe, that yes,
Yeah.
they and they come up with a lot of excuses. What I personally experienced, that initially when they join me, they are full of beans. Okay,
Hmm.
I'll do that. I will definitely follow your instructions. But I guess within 1 month or 2 month, their enthusiasm it starts fizzling
Dwindling.
out. So
Yeah.
yes, so that's what I. So there, my actually the real challenge begins there, to keep
Hmm.
them motivated, to keep them glued to their major goal. So, and now I have completely switched to homemakers, students
Okay.
and homemakers, because homemakers, I believe, they need to understand their caliber and they need to value themselves. Now, again, my work starts here more than teaching. I am just telling them, telling the homemakers, telling them to value themselves, not to take them for granted, because they need this push, they need this token of motivation. So many homemakers approach me, and I'm very happy to see them grooming,
Hmm.
or they start their, when they create their channels, and when they tell me that ma'am, I have started doing this and I'm very happy, I can see myself grooming confidently. I think my motive or my purpose,
It's
it is somewhere I reach my goal.
mm-hmm.
So
Right.
nowadays, I am more concerned about homemakers and students from rural areas.
Okay, understood. I agree with
Yes,
what you said. Young kids come with a different level of energy, right? You
level of
become a
energy.
kid when you're dealing with young kids, right? And the
Yes,
kind of
yes,
imagination that they possess,
right.
you can give them
Hmm.
anything and everything, and they would be ready to jump on it and
Ready.
come up with a
Yes.
story, right?
Hmm.
Whereas with adults, sometimes it's
Hmm.
difficult to discuss about hypothetical situations, is what I felt,
Right.
right?
Yes.
Because when you give something as simple as, let's say, a very simple task, as in,
Hmm.
if I if you win a lottery of, let's say, so and so amount,
Huh.
what are you going to win?
Yes.
What are you going to
Hmm.
do with it? Now a
Hmm.
kid would perhaps come up with a really great plan, because
Great.
yeah,
Yes.
maybe
Right.
something that's
Hmm.
unimaginable, or something that cannot be
Unimaginable.
real, but
Hmm.
you'd still come up with a great plan, great answer. But with
Plan.
the adults, they would have a realistic picture in mind. The first thing that they
Hmm.
tell me is that this amount is not enough. This is something that I've been
Okay.
hearing from my adult learners, right? They would say this amount is, very less. If I
Oh.
just tell them, if you get
Hmm.
10 lakhs, 10 lakhs,
Hmm.
it's very short, a very small amount.
Oh
And
God.
so that's the first thing that I get to hear. The second thing
Yes.
that they say is they will either invest or they would travel the world. That's it. These are the two answers that I get from
Hmm.
adults. So, which is
Okay.
why when you discuss with adults, it's difficult to come up
Hmm.
with hypothetical questions because they
Right.
think about it from a logical perspective,
Yes.
right?
Right.
And I
Hmm.
always tell my learners that whatever you speak here, it doesn't have to be true.
True.
Idea
Right.
is, yeah, the idea
Hmm.
is not
Yes.
to give out true statements. The idea is to speak as
Hmm.
much as you can, even if
Speak
it
as much.
involves making things up. Yeah,
Right, true that. That's what I also I believe too. It's all about to be creative enough with your thought process. Children
right,
have that capacity because they are not judgmental and they are not bothered about their mistakes or being judged by other people. But
right.
we try to be perfect and we try to be calculative with all the things. As you just mentioned, that they say that this amount is very less, but they are not getting. They need to understand it's just a hypothetical
Yeah,
situation. You are
it's just a
talking, right?
task.
Yes. So they need to think out of the box. How can they use beautiful words, right? And how can they be expressive enough? Because they are sitting here to express themselves, to learn some new expressions, and to implement all those knowledge which maybe they have been learning,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
And
Yes.
you are talking about hypothetical situation. I just pick my pen, I show it, and I ask them, need to frame, or you need to tell something randomly about this pen, and they're like, oh ma'am, I can't, I don't know how to say, it's a pen, we used to write it, that's it, and they end up.
Yes. Just two sentences,
So
right?
yes.
Max to max,
So
you'll get three statements. That's it. They're
three
not ready
statements.
to go beyond what
Yes.
is given to them. Yeah.
Yes, yes. And they
Right.
are more concerned about being observed by me, by the tutor. That what if I don't construct a correct sentence? What if I make a mistake? And they just don't want to come out of their comfort zone. They don't want
Right.
to experiment with their thought process. That's what they
Mm-hmm.
need. And it is not only, see, language comes later. When you come to improve your communication skills, it's all about how creative you are, how innovative you are with your thought process, right? And how
Right.
presentable you are. For me, nonverbal communication plays a crucial role.
Yeah.
But people, they focus more on words, vocabulary, idioms, phrases. So
Yes. Using advanced
everyone
level
has.
vocabulary,
Yes.
right?
Right,
Using
right,
flowery
right.
language is what they believe communication to be. Whereas
Hmm.
non-verbal communication is 70% of the communication that you're doing with the other person. Verbal
Right.
communication is just a small bit of that,
Hmm.
right?
They need
So
to
it's
understand this.
so how do
Hmm.
you work on non-verbal communication? Today I'm finding
Uh,
this session to be quite interesting just because in every session I become the trainer and the other person is the learner. I don't get
Learner.
to learn as much, although, yes, I strive to work on myself as well when I'm dealing with my learners, but it's mostly, something that they are gaining out of me and not the other way around, right? But in this
Hmm.
particular conversation, I feel that I'm talking to someone who has that equal level of space in terms of
Oh,
our
thank you.
understanding about how language works, right? And
Yes.
having a degree, having a certificate, it's not just enough.
Yes.
Having those
Right.
skills is what matters,
Yes.
right?
True that. True that.
Right.
So when it comes to non-verbal communication, I think for me, non-verbal communication is what I observe when I communicate, I try to be natural. I don't try actually, I'm quite natural, be it Hindi, be it Himachali, be it English.
Mm,
Yes, when I was struggling to be natural, particularly in English, I practiced a lot. I used to practice a lot. I tried each and everything, be it imitating, shadowing practice. I tell this thing to my learners also, that see, language learning, first of all, have this concept in your mind that it is going to take time. Okay,
mm,
if you are starting, if you are a beginner,
right.
don't compare your journey with those people who are already at intermediate level. Okay, so it is going to take time. Don't expect any magic that within 2 months or 3 months you will be fluent. It
Right.
doesn't happen
They
in this way,
might have
right?
asked you, how can we
Yes,
become fluent like you? Right? One of the most common
right.
questions. They always
Most common
compare,
question.
yeah. Yeah, they always compare
Yes,
themselves with someone who is already higher up that ladder, but they don't see
right.
the number of steps that they have already taken in order to reach that
Taken.
particular
Right.
level. They're just looking at that position, not the
Position
steps that they have already taken in that journey.
already taken. Yes,
Yeah,
and it's not only about your level or all these things. See, everything matters, your background, the kind
yeah,
of schooling you have, right? And the kind of learner you are. In school, we find there are some slow learners who take extra time to learn simple questions. So
right,
accept, first of all, you need to accept yourself the way you are. Okay,
right.
it's okay. I take some extra time to understand basic concepts. Ouch.
Uh,
Okay.
yeah, I think
Hmm.
there was
It
a
was
technical
some
glitch.
technical. Mm-hmm. Yes. So I was just, yes, I was on this point that they need to accept this fact that it's okay. Maybe I take some extra time to learn simple basic things, but I'll practice more and I'll achieve that level. Okay. So
Right.
you need to adapt a pragmatic plus positive approach. That should
Hmm.
be the first thing. And if you have self doubts, I think you can't do anything in your life, right? Because it's very, for me, I believe in myself and I learned this over the years. It took me years to understand this that it is very important to believe in yourself. That's what
Right.
I do now, right? Because if you don't believe in yourself, who will believe? Who is going
Hmm.
to believe you, right?
Right.
And language learning is a process. It is going to take time. You cannot be perfect with your communication skills, right? So
Mm-hmm.
have this notion in your mind, just learn it, enjoy the process, right? Don't just stick to your goal that I have to reach there. Enjoy the process. You will see if you are doing better what you did yesterday. I think you are making that progress. Okay. So I never compare my journey with any other. I compare my journey with myself. So
Mm-hmm.
if I am grooming in a better way day by day, I'm
Mm-hmm.
happy with my journey. So there are these internal factors which we need to keep in our mind rather than cramming or jotting down so many words, vocabulary words, and people they how they start. They just start watching so many videos on YouTube. They start
Mm.
listening to so many podcasts. They start reading books, whether they are into reading or not. They start reading. Okay,
Right.
but this will not help you. You need to find what exactly works for you. In my
Mm-hmm.
case, reading doesn't work. I
Right.
I am not into reading, right? But yes, listening works for me. So I try
Mm-hmm.
to listen. I listen to so many podcasts. Especially I'm a big fan of Priyanka Chopra, the way she speaks, the way she presents, and
Right.
I imitate her. I
Mm.
imitate the way she presents because it helps me. And I
Mm.
am very transparent with my teaching as well as my learning. I
Mm.
I always tell that I did this and still I do this technique.
Right.
So this
Uh-huh.
works for me. You can also try. Maybe it works. It work for you. Okay.
Right.
So this is if I am a learner, I need to be smart enough. I can't follow someone blindly.
Right. That's
So
true.
that is it. And again, it's all about expressing yourself, presenting yourself. Then comes your words and vocabulary.
Mm. Right.
Okay. So it for me, it doesn't matter. You are using very hi-fi vocabulary, but you are without any expression. So it is not going to be impactful. Okay. But
Right.
yes, you are using basic expressions, but you are speaking in a very nice way. Then it will be impactful. So
Right.
that is it.
So, ma'am, it was great listening to you and a lot of things that you shared. It's something that I share with my learners. So it was great seeing someone else
Thank you
saying out
so
the words
much.
that I share with my learners, right?